Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. On today's episode, I wanted to give you guys my final remarks towards the case. I wanted to give you guys my feelings and also answer one question, which is why I'm so interested in this case, which is something that comes up a lot in the comments. So I just want to say, first of all, out of anything, one of the things that I like about doing these videos is you guys, my community we've been, I've seen people that have been here since the beginning. I've been doing these videos for like 8 months now, six to 8 months, which has been great. I love our community, even though in the comments sometimes it gets heated towards Darrell. I believe that you guys have made a community that is respectful, um, that it's someone that I like to hang out. I like to read your comments. I like to answer your comments. So I just want to say thank you guys for that. Um, and I want to start reviewing the case from the standpoint of, I'm gonna go from easiest to hardest, and of course the easiest one to tell is talk about are the state, the Susan Opper, Zach Wichow, and Attorney Basie. They are all great. I think they did a phenomenal job. They created a case that was top to bottom, like close fisted, iron fist. There was no way that Darrell was gonna be able to escape with the evidence that they have, and also how they um manage the whole Darrell thing. That, like you can see in the video, Susan Opper was always on top of him. She didn't let him away with saying all of that stuff. When the Erica thing happened, Zach was there with it. When the witnesses were talking and he was trying to move them in another direction, Attorney Basie was also on him. Like, no one let anything loose. And also the team behind them, the Detective Casey, the I forgot the name, but the special agent from Susan Opera in the state. I forgot his name. Someone in the comments is gonna tell me his name again. But he was great. Like a whole thing. I would say kudos to them. I heard in the comments that Susan Opera retired. I heard in the comments that Zach is looking to be a judge. Attorney Basie wants to be the DA. So that's really good. I really wish they're doing well now. Moving to the judge. I believe that the judge was good. She did what she needed to do. That's how can I put it? Because I know, and I felt that frustration during the trial where she let him get away with stuff. She let him talk. She let him do all this stuff to disrupt the proceedings. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that this was not just her. Like, I'm pretty sure that at the end of every day she could talk with other judges. She could seek uh um like some sort of, there was a think tank of judges being like, okay, this is the best situation for this. It was not just her, but also her as an individual, like being able to like, look at this guy. Like, you think that you will be able to be sane around him, like talking with him, having a discussion or debate with him? No, I will. I won't say what I will do, but it's really frustrating to just listen to him. Can you imagine interact for real with him? That's that's something that I cannot do, and I'm sure that it was most difficult for her because he was the one that was standing right her. He was screaming at her. He was telling her that she was not doing a good job. He was trying to do everything to gaslight her into thinking that she was wrong. And at the end of the day, he couldn't do it. He couldn't break her, and that's really good. Um, the next one, which I think is one of the most difficult to talk about, but at the same time, I have a lot of respect for them, is the community of Waukesha. Like, I cannot imagine the the feelings that they have towards this case, towards what happened that day. Even if they weren't a victim or directly related to a victim, this was an attack to their community. And it was bitter bad. And the way that they gathered together, they stick by each other and were able to come back stronger out of it. It's incredible, and I will always talk about them, and I think I said it a lot in the during the series, is that I believe that they seem to be really nice people, that they gather together, that they help each other, and it's really sad that this happened to them, all because someone didn't want to get arrested. Well, I'm gonna talk about him a little bit, but yeah, I just want to say that they they're a great town. They're a great. They trusted their system, and the system delivered. Um, and I think it's a really nice thing. It's commendable for them to be able to unite against this monster. And at the end, we have Darrell Brooks, like I have him here. And let me just say this: there's a common saying that the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And with Darrell Brooks, that's all he had. How many times? I'm sure there's some way to know, but how many times did Darrell Brooks said subject matter jurisdiction? How many times he tried to object? How many times he tried to derail? I mean, he had one tactic, and it didn't work the first day. It didn't work the second one. It didn't work the third one. He had one thing to do, and was try to disrupt the trial enough so the jury could nullify him. And I believe that he fits that description really well. Like, he never adapted. He never listened to what the judge was telling him. Even the judge helped him a lot. Like, let's not jump around that. The judge helped him, and it was good, because otherwise the trial wouldn't move on at all. But he never took that advice and put it to test and tried to see if something different would have happened. Like, fine, you want to fire your attorneys, fine, that's your right. But you don't have the right to then claim that you don't understand. Like, again, how many times can someone say understand before it becomes like meaningless? So, by definition, I believe Darrell Brooks is mad. He not is he fits the definition of madness to me. And what can I say about him? He's a monster. He's irredeemable. And I have the example right here. This is why he is irredeemable. Like, I'm gonna play it.
For whatever mistakes that I myself have made in my life, I made peace with God. Made peace. I'm happy to say that my conscience is clear. And because I believe, I trust him with my life.
Okay, that's enough. So, as you can see, Darrell doesn't have any regrets for that day. As you can see, his conscience is clear. He gaslighted himself. Like, he's so much of a gaslighter, so good of a gaslighter, that he convinced himself that he's forgiven. That he doesn't he moved past that day. That he doesn't need to say sorry to the victims. Like, he tried to do it well a little bit in this closing statement, in the final remarks that he did, but that wasn't sincere. Like he changes his mind depending on what he's saying at the moment. Because remember what he was talking about Susan Upper and that he was not going to bash her, and then he proceeded to bash her. Like, he's petty. He's a little man. And I wouldn't even call him a man. He's a little small person that doesn't care about anyone but himself. And he deserved what he got, to be honest. Like, I know that he didn't plan the attack. Like, I truly believe that he's not smart enough to plan something like that. That just happened because he was angry. And that's about it. Like, but he could have. The worst thing about it is that nothing had to happen. He just had to stop. He just had to move to another street. He just had to, I don't know, go to a park and punch a tree, something like that. If he wanted to release that anger and frustration that he had because Erica didn't want to give him money for his bail and stuff. Like, you realize how small-minded he is when you think about the motivation of his actions. Like, he doesn't care. He just thinks, oh, I don't have my money, I'm angry, I'm gonna hit you, or I don't care, I'm mad that their friends came and ridiculed me, and now I have to go and take my anger in someone else. Like, that's the person that Darrell is. And he tried to say in his closing statement that the person that was in the courtroom was not Darrell Brooks. That was something else. That, like, imagine if there were cameras on my cell room and you can see how much I cried and stuff. But I don't believe that he cries. He cries, but it's for himself because he is in that cell, not because of what he did. He has no remorse on what he did. And that's why I believe he's irredeemable. He deserves to be in max prison right now. And hopefully that's what it's gonna be for him. He needs to learn that it's not about that this is not about himself, like he made it to be. Now, to answer the question, why do I feel like I should why did I make this entire trial? Why did I make videos about this entire trial? There's like over 80 videos covering the entire trial. Shout out to San Antonio for doing the edits and have put in a great edit of this trial in the description below. But I also seen the entire trial, like no cuts, all the dead minutes, I watched them all several times. And there's one reason why I do it. And, well, there's several, but the most important one is this one. Like, let's hear him.
Not just that, but the difficult health and what it is to battle mental health issues. Not just that, but the difficulties of life in general. The childhood I had, not having a father, having to see my mom sometimes work 2 and 3 jobs just to be able to support us. I remember being a child and me and my sister, my mom only had 2 children. My sisters passed away, but I remember being a child and me and my sister and my mom standing in the welfare line to get milk, to get cheese, bread, Spam. And when you're a kid, you don't understand that. You think it's normal. I remember living in apartment buildings infested with rodents and bugs, pouring in cereal in your bowl and having bugs in it. A lot of people weren't raised like that, so it'd be hard for them to pull back that veil and understand that. Physical abuse by the people that are supposed to love you.
Okay. I'm gonna pause it in a different way so it doesn't look blurry. There you go. Alright, so you just heard him say that. The whole thing about people not understanding what it's like to be raised like that. And this is when I connect directly to this case. Is that as hard it is to say, and trust me, I had a lot of problems recording this video because what I'm about to say, but I believe that it's correct to say it, and so you guys can understand where I come from. Is that I see myself in Darrell Brooks. I see myself in what he went through. Like, I believe that he's the example of what I would be if I chose to go in a different directions. Because let's just think about what he just said. Like, he just said that a lot of people don't understand being raised like that. I was raised like that. I didn't have a father. My dad died when I was 3 years old. Um, I grew up in a really bad part of the city that I'm in. For the people that don't know, I live in Tijuana. Tijuana is not the safest city. And when I was growing up, I was around a lot of stuff. A lot of illegal substances. Like, if right in front of me there was a house that sold all that stuff. My friends growing up in, like, that was the area that I live in. So my friends did that stuff and did a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with. But the difference, I believe, and the thing that I'm grateful for, is that I took all of those things and I was like, okay, you know what? I see all of this around me. I see where it takes you. I see what it does to you. And I was like, I don't want this for me. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be stuck in this. So I tried my best. I work hard. Like, I started working when I was 12 years old, just so I could be in another place that wasn't there. And I believe that I'm making a change. I'm moving my life for the better and achieving my goals. But that's why it's so personal to me, because I was in the same position that I was, but I'm not I didn't uh excuse myself by saying, "Oh, well, this is the life that I got. These are the circumstances that I'm in. That's what I'm going to be." And that's what he's doing right here. He's justifying who he is because of the childhood that he had, the growing up that he had. And the thing that also uh, resonates a lot with me is the next thing that he's gonna say.
Trying to understand why your mind thinks the way it does, why you don't comprehend certain things, why no one can provide the answers that you want.
Yeah, life is hard. Sometimes and one of the things that he said a little bit ago was that he has mental issues. I have mental issues. Like, I've been in therapy for a long time, and I learned to control myself, to care about myself. But he had the help. Like, he had help. He was in mental institutions, but at the same time he decided that he was fine, and that's not something that you decide. Like, you have to work with other people, and they can help you get to that point. But you cannot just say, "Oh, I'm fine now. I don't need my meds," like he did. And I believe that this trial needs to be seen. I don't believe that Brooks needs to be forgotten. People need to see what it's like to be on the wrong path and understand that they can change that. They don't have to be Darrell Brooks. I know life is hard. I can assure you that life is not easy for me right now. But we keep moving forward. And the attitude that you have towards that is what defines who you are. Hmm. I don't get Darrell Brooks. I don't see why he needs to justify everything that he is. Because at the end of the day, when you're an adult, you are in charge. And and I know the community has given him some forgiveness because they need to move on. They also need to move on from Darrell Brooks. They didn't they forgive him, but they of course don't forget. So for me, I believe that he's always gonna be interesting. The way the whole trial is a case study that needs to be looked at and research and understanding that they needs to be help for people. But also there's no excuse to just say, oh, the society made me this way. Because there's always an option. And you can change that. Well, that was hard to get out. Like, trust me, I've been in this seat a long time for a couple of days trying to get my feelings out, and it's been hard. But I'm glad that I did it, and I would like to know what you guys think of this trial. Why you keep coming back to this trial? Why is it something that's worth watching? Because there's something for each person that resonates with that, and this is mine. And I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope I can answer. If you have any other other questions for me, post in the comments. I read the comments, and I'll answer for them. I have an answer for them. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a different video. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye.